All right, so we're gonna recap the trade example from last night's Asia session. Very easy longs. You can see the trade executions here, and there's some stuff on the chart right now. I just have it loaded for the sake of explaining. Not everything is on the chart at all times, but just wanted to start off by showing the executions, and then we're gonna discuss how we got there. So let's go ahead and go into bar replay to about here, and we can see that the Fox boxes indicator is letting us know that we're in bullish breakout, although it doesn't look evident because of this large absorption here and accumulation range. We did close above the previous London sessions price action, so that's why we're getting that bullish breakout profile here. So it gives us a clue for bias. We should be looking for longs. Also, we have New York's sessions equilibrium zone here, and as long as this holds, we can look for higher prices, right? If it starts to break down, then we know that it's failing, right? So it gives us a clue for bias already. So we're looking specifically for longs at the moment until things turn around and change. We also have New York's value area loaded here, which is aligned with the Fox box, and we can see that the point of control for New York session is right here, and we are respecting that, and we want to see price get accepted above this value area, breaking above the value area high there, and we can look for our long entries. We can see right here on that lime green candle, if we kind of zoom in just a little bit, it flips bullish here with displacement inversing that opening candle and taps right back into it. So people playing inversions and things of that nature, that's probably where they're going to be entering. For me, it's a little bit too early of an entry. I want to see that confirmation of it breaking out and align my entry with a high time frame candle wick, which is what we're going to discuss in a moment. That's why the entry that I took was on this candle, aligning with the next 1 hour candle, right? So we can see that I have the weekly closing profile loaded here, which gives us our levels for just Sunday's open and Monday's action. So we can use these levels for the entire Monday to help us locate our levels. And we can see that we're at the hold flip zone of the closing profile, which is pretty much the decision point. Excuse me. And then price is going to break in one direction or the other. This is aligned with this accumulation range and the value area here. So if our thesis is bullish, we want to see it hold. We don't want to see it break beneath that, right? So if it does hold and price gets bullish, we're automatically targeting the pink zone above. That is the focal point of the levels. That is where price should go. It may not tap it to the tick, but that's the direction, right? So everything as of right now is aligning with the entire context, right? The narrative that we want to look for longs. So everything is quite simple once it's understood. So let me go ahead and then if price reverses from here, we would be looking for shorts down back to this zone, the hold flip zone. We also have an unmitigated or naked point of control right here that would be taking out all this internal engineered liquidity. So this would be the target or a partial, and then possibly leave a runner for that. We don't know if it'll get there today on a Monday, but we'll see. However, we're discussing this Asia trade, so we've got the context, and now let's look at some additional things from the PO3 indicator, and we can see how things begin to align and create the story once you understand the structure. So New York finished with a 4-hour IB candle, so that is going to be our focus, our reference point, and we can see that 4-hour IB as absorption here. It's very evident, right? So that's what they look like on the lower time frame. We also have a 1-hour IB candle here as well. So those two candles are going to be our reference points, which also lend the idea to this long trade. So we want to see Asia tap into the 4-hour IB and find support, because this is balanced price range, right? It should support price. If it breaks beneath, then we have problems. We're probably going to go lower. But if it finds support on that balanced price range, we should get expansion to the upside. Looking at the 1 hour, we have Asia immediately placing in a Judas candle right on that 1 hour IB. So we know that on an IB, if it gets swept, if one level, one side gets swept, it can immediately reverse and take the opposing side. And if it stays above, then we know the 1 hour extensions are what we can look for, and we can get expansion to the upside. Already, just this Judas candle is a bullish signature, and we swept. We have a 1 hour sweep creating a candle 2. So this candle right here, this wick, is pretty much where you want to be looking for entries, right? That is your entry trigger. The structure is there. Perfect candle 3 entry, aligning with breaking out of this value area. Price is being accepted for higher, so that we can take that for the expansion. Now, on the 15-minute, we have a Judas as well, and nice manipulation wick here, sweeping that level. We do have an IB right after, pulling back to mitigate that wick, but like I said, that entry is a little bit too early for me. I want to see it confirm the breakout, because we don't know how long, especially in Asia session, it likes to chop around and accumulate. We don't know how long. We want that confirmation first that it's breaking out. So the next 15-minute candle pretty much aligns with that 1 hour entry, so we just got to be a little bit more patient, make sure it's breaking out. That's why, again, you can see my execution right where it was for the trade. And right here on this displacement candle aligns with the 0.5 extension of the 4 hour IB. So that's where you want to take partial, and you're going to go break even and leave a runner for the 1x expansion, which it was shy of about 4 points. It aligned with 30,600, which, mind you, is a whole number, right? 600, the 100 level. They like to reject that and reject at the 75 level as well. So you want to be mindful of this area here, 600 to the 75. So this little area you want to be paying really close attention to if you're in a long or if you're looking for shorts. You want to see what they're going to do right here. Again, they like to reject at the 75 level, and the 600 is psychological, so they could failure swing that because they know people are gunning for those whole numbers. Our 1x extension, like I said, aligned with that level perfectly. So I was watching, and right on this candle, as it pulled back and didn't swipe that level, couple candles later it started to pull back. I immediately closed it as all the time frames were putting in a bearish candle 2 and that's not something I want to play with, and you're only 4 points away from terminus at that point, you just simply close the trade. The trade is done, right? You don't want to try and hold for 4 points, being up 160 points and giving all that back, right? You just don't want to do that. You want to the trade is done, just close it, right? Don't be greedy for a few points. So that being said, I closed the trade as you saw from the executions. And another nice 3 candle formation on the 15-minute. We just didn't get expansion on the 3rd candle, which is okay. Sometimes it begins on the 4th candle, but we do have the nice 3 candle formation on the 1 hour, so that was perfect. As you can see, price pretty much went to where we expected it to go, and that's the trade. Let's go ahead and get out of bar replay for a second here. So as you can see, entry as it broke out that value area. Now we have the volume profile aligned for Asia, and then we can see that it rejected that 600 level and broke down from 75. We lost Asia's point of control right here with a displacement after it flipped bearish, right? We can get all this information from the candle colors. It's not just here to look fancy, it's here to tell you information, right? I'll say it a million times. Everybody's gonna say, oh, you have so much crazy stuff on your chart. I don't care. It's telling me exactly what I need to know. Why? We failed to take Asia's value area high. We failed the 600 level. We put in a failed breakout candle, causing candle 2s on a higher time frame. That's bearish. This magenta color candle is where it actually flips bearish, inversing this candle. We immediately get a bearish displacement candle, losing the point of control. That would be your short entry right there. Stop at the high, and you're targeting the value area low, or back into New York's value area, or the closing profile hold flip zone, as I mentioned previously, right? And then you'd be out the short. So it becomes very simple, and these indicators really help you identify those things, right? And as you can see, we're putting in multiple 15-minute 3 candle formations on the way down. I wouldn't enter on any of these. The entry was up here. So if you didn't enter up here, I wouldn't be trying to enter down here, because you're getting into like a support zone. So you would want it to get back into this 15-minute fair value gap here, this displacement candle aligned with this breakdown and the point of control. You would want price to sweep this internal liquidity and then reject again from here for a short, if you were looking for a short at this point. And then you have to be careful for it to make a new high, so make sure things align. But the point of this video is to cover the Asia trade using the indicators to really give you the information of exactly what's going on in the market and when to properly enter, right? It's not gonna tell you exactly when to enter. It's just the whole point of the indicators is to give you the information that you need to be able to process what's happening and make the best decision on the direction when things align, right? And then in those areas, you find your entry model, whatever that may be, and you enter, right? So if you trade inversions, you'd be entering there. If you trade change of state of deliveries, you'd be entering there. Whatever model, you know, this is another entry here for tapping into a fair value gap after it broke out for a little continuation. Obviously I wouldn't be entering in that late, you would have to jump in probably a lot heavier size in order to take advantage of a smaller move, and it's more risky because you're really close to taking out levels, right? So but that's a little recap of the Asia trade. Easy long, and you could have taken a nice easy short in London. Easy right there. So very good. We'll see what we get for the New York session today. It is Monday opening range, so you typically want to let the levels develop for today and trade them the rest of the week. We do have news coming this week, so new month, and we'll see what happens.